I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome our guests, but it doesn't look like there is any. So, Emma, thank you for being here for interpretation. But moving on to item A3, I'll entertain a motion to approve this afternoon's agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as written.
Motion's been made by Director Simmons to approve the agenda. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Director Stewart. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 3-0. Great. Moving on to item B1. I don't think there's any public comment.
None.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to item C1. These are the required approvals. So I will entertain a motion to approve all these action items under C1.
I move to approve all items, all required approvals in C1.
Motion's been made by Director Simmons to approve all action items under C1. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Director Hilmes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 3-0. Okay. So moving on to item D1, assurance of organizational performance. As you can see in our, the monitoring reports from our superintendent are included, and I will need a motion to approve those reports as well.
I move to approve the acceptance of the monitoring reports for this board meeting.
Motion's been made by Director Simmons to approve accepting the monitoring reports. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Director Hilmes.
So just a clarification.
Any discussion? Okay.
We're just approving the acceptance that we received the report.
Yes, sir.
In our new format here, and then because these used to be in general.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 3-0. Okay. So we'll move on to item D2, board approval of monitoring response documents. These are the documents that we've already signed, and so I'll entertain a motion to approve the response documents.
I move to approve the monitoring response documents.
Motion's been made by Director Hilmes to approve response
Second.
documents, seconded by Director Simmons. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries then 3-0.
So, Tilly, I didn't see it earlier. Are those two votes but connected the same? What if somebody did not approve monitoring reports but approved monitoring response documents then? Okay. I can't imagine that's going to come up, but it could.
Okay, so are we good? Okay. Okay, moving on to item E1. This is policy review, so these are the policies that came up at the board meeting on Monday that were supposed to be for our Monday board meeting. And so I will ask for GP 6.1, which is linkage committee. Is there any recommended changes?
My understanding of that was that we're just going to, it was approved in general, at our previous board meeting, I know it just has to be put into the proper format, and I think formatting looks right to me, so
And it looks right to me as well.
I move to approve the acceptance of the new policy GP 6.1.
Motion's been made by Director Simmons to approve the changes to GP 6.1.
We'll need a second in a minute.
We'll need a second here in a second. We'll need a second to approve GP1 changes.
The new policy.
Second.
Second by Director Hilmes. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to item E2, GP8 agenda planning. Is there
No vote on that one? Being able to vote under
Separately.
separate items underneath and all, okay, gotcha.
So we'll just do vocal voting from here on out. So GP8, any recommended changes from the board? I believe all the recommendations were already given. This is just to make sure that all the redundancies were taken out and added. So
So my memory is that the decision was to take the top portion of the new policy.
Correct.
That was, well, not new policy, but a revised policy written by Director Ashton, and then make after a certain part, make that a new policy, right? So
Correct.
we're approving everything up to that point.
yeah, the next item is the new policy, or the second part of this first GP8 that we made, GP8.2.
Okay.
So no other corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve GP8 agenda planning.
Motion's been made by Director Hilmes to approve GP8 agenda planning, seconded by Director Simmons. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to item 3, GP 8.2. Now, this is the portion that was separated from the original GP 8 and was made into a new policy, GP 8.2. I do have some questions regarding some of the items that are included in this policy. For example, the very, very last sentence, the board shall declare a school director's position vacant after 4 consecutive unexcused absences from regular board meetings if the absences were for reasons other than illness. And so I know Director Simmons mentioned that there's an RCW attached to that, and so I'd like to some more time just to study this portion of it a little bit closer. So I'd like to recommend to table this policy till the next board meeting.
So, that was, I believe that terminology there was pulled from district operating policy. If we bring that up, if that will have an RCW attached as a reference.
Okay. Well, my recommendation is still the table until I see that. Unless you guys.
If you saw it right now, would you be
Sure.
able to give you clarification? Let me see if I can find it. It should only take a minute. So I'm looking under District Operating Policy 1114. No, that would be if there's a resignation.
I guess my issue is the wording in that last sentence. According to the way it's written, it says that a school director's position will be vacant. Now, I don't know if we have the authority to vacate. Well, I guess we can for board meetings, but to me it reads like that position then can be refilled, but by who? They would have to get fired, and we would have to rehire that position. And so my concern is the way it's worded. And so I don't know if you guys read it that way as well, but I don't know that we have the authority to fire somebody that is.
Yeah, I found it, and I'm looking up the RCW right now. But I will say the district operating policy did not use shall, it used may.
So, and everything else is the same wording?
Looked like it. If you want to go into policies, which, that's policy.
1450.
Yeah, 1450. And I'll look up the RCW right now so we can see how it's worded. Yeah, okay, so the exact wording of RCW 28A-343, not dash, .343.390 says, a majority of all members of the board of directors shall constitute a quorum. Absence of any board member from 4 consecutive regular meetings of the board, unless on account of sickness or authorized by resolution of the board, shall be sufficient cause for the remaining members of the board to declare by resolution that such board member position is vacant. That is definitely, there's some different intent in that wording, and
But yeah, it's board members though, it's not directors. I mean, this RCW states if a board member is absent for 4, the GP point 8.2 states it's a school district director.
no, I think school director meant a board of director. Board member.
Okay.
I think that was
okay.
the intent of that. I didn't catch that that's what you were saying.
Right.
So I agree that the wording could be reworded to better match the RCW. I think the purpose is it gives the board an opportunity to say, look, if we have a member who has decided to quit showing up to
Okay.
meetings, do we have recourse? And there is some recourse there.
Okay.
But I think it should be reworded, so I would,
So can we just reword it to the board shall declare a school board director's position rather than just school director? Because to me that reads our directors, our executive directors that are present at our board meetings as well.
I would suggest it's a copy and paste from RCW 28A.
Yeah, if you wanna change that, then do the exact wording that's in that RCW and add that to the end of this and remove that last sentence.
You want to keep shall in there?
May
This-
sounds better.
The RCW says shall be sufficient cause
Right.
for the remaining members
doesn't-
to declare.
It's
Doesn't say it's gonna
sufficient.
happen.
It doesn't say, this says it's going to happen.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
So by doing it there, and we're following RCW,
Right.
it's not something that can be argued with, but I think it just gives the board recourse. Fortunately, it's never happened to us.
Right.
And I don't expect it will, but.
Okay, so we will go ahead and then, if it's okay with the rest of the remainder of the board, to table this until those changes are made? And then approve it.
You brought up a good point. There could be some confusion about the school director thing, right? So maybe what I would suggest as well is that we change anything that says school director, we change that to
School board members.
school board member or school board director.
Right.
Never
Yeah.
occurred to me that way, but since it did to you,
It
it
did.
occurred that way to someone else too, I'm sure.
Right.
And I would approve it based on those changes. I'd be fine with approving the rest of it.
So you want to make a motion?
Yep. I move to approve new policy GP 8.2 with the, a couple things. One of the things would be to be formatted to our proper policy format, and then also to add the language, replace the last sentence and paragraph with the language directly out of the RCW, which would be 28A.343.390. And then also to change any instance where it just says simply school director to school board director or school board member. I don't, which one do you want? Which one do you guys prefer? Because I think we need to say for sure.
School board member makes more sense to me.
That's fine.
School board member, that would be the wording. With that, when I ask, in the last sentence of of this, it says, in addition of that RCW, in addition, vacancies shall occur as provided in RCW 42.12.010. We've never had an RCW reference within a policy. Would you want to keep that? I think it might need to be because
You're
that-
looking at the policy, or the
I'm looking at the RCW itself.
okay.
The RCW 42.12.010 talks about other vacancies, like death of an incumbent, resignation, convict of a felony, those kind of things. So this would be the first time I think any of our policies reference an RCW inside the policy, if you guys are okay with that. I don't know that it
That's
matters
fine.
to me, but it would be something we have to keep an eye on in case that policy goes
Right.
away. The only way was if that policy was deleted, which I can't imagine would be deleted, but it could be updated, and then we don't have
Okay.
to worry about changing it. So
That'll-
we're going to leave it?
Yeah,
Okay. So that was a really long motion.
Yeah,
But
so-
I hope everyone got the gist.
as long as you got it. Okay, so a motion's been made by Director Simmons to approve GP 8.2 with all the stated changes. So do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Director Hilmes. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 3-0. Moving on to item E4.
I move to approve, sorry, never mind. We're not going to make any changes, so I'm not making a motion.
Right.
Sorry.
Any recommended changes to GP 14? If not, then we'll move on to item E5, EL 8 budget planning. Any recommended changes? Okay. We're moving on to item F1, upcoming events. Just for everyone's information, the Adams County Fair is this week, starting today through Sunday, I believe, the 16th. And our Othello High School visit is October 3rd. And Dr. Hurst will get back to us with the time, since we know that the high school begins at a later time. And so he'll get back to us with a starting time for that high school visit. There will be no need for assessment of meetings, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Director Hilmes to adjourn. Second?
Second.
Second by Director Simmons. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 3-0. We are adjourned.